All right, I'm going to be showing you how to make my lovely little miniature bookshelf. I agreed to make some of these for friends and I wanted to make one for myself as well. So the one I have here is the one for myself. I have a lot more books than they do, so for their copies, I have some fun little add-ins to throw in, like one of my friends gets a little globe. You can see I have a little wood background. I have gone ahead and cut the background for one of them. I am just going to use this as a template before I cut the next one. And I also went ahead and I ordered these awesome little fake Altoid cans from Amazon. This paper is also from Amazon. To make the miniature books, I just simply printed some covers. I made a spine that says the name, so this book is called Ethics, and then I Mod Podged them using this Mod Podge, which I think is the matte version. I didn't want to use the glossy Mod Podge. To Mod Podge them to some foam board so they have a little thickness to them. I am realizing that my books off to the sides have kind of gotten mixed and mingled, which is a little funny because some of the books I'm using are actually for my friend's child. So I'm going to keep those separate. And I'm first just going to keep you on while I go ahead and cut up another piece of the wood. Obviously, you can tell I got a lot of wood. A lot of people probably wouldn't have committed to the wood, but I wanted it. So I just got some, and it's a peel and stick, which I thought was nice and easy for getting it to stick inside the can. I may end up adding some to this side. I haven't decided yet if I like it without or with it. I might end up adding it, but for now, we're just gonna trace it and add it to the back. So the way I initially traced this was I traced the bottom, and then I did slight trimmings around the edges, just checking until I felt like it fit well. So now I just get to trace these guys. You can see that this one is also a trace because the edges are not perfectly rounded, and that's okay. I am not going to be a perfectionist about this because if I let myself be one, it would be way too difficult to actually get this handled. So with that, I'm just gonna cut this guy out. Okay, so now that I have this, we're going to go ahead and just test it out by sticking it in here, seeing how it fits. You can see it kind of bunches up on the sides a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace that with my fingernail so I can know how I need to cut it. Then I'm going to get it out again and I can follow that little line there and cut this. Great. So just a little extra off. And my trick for getting these in there, again, I'm just going to test that in there one more time. Great. It'll be good enough for sure. My trick is I'm going to just peel part of it first and stick that side down before I try and put it all in or before I peel it all off. Okay, so I have just the edge started. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there. Peel and stick I am finding to be pretty forgiving. I've never used it before, but it is pretty nice about when I'm first getting going. It won't fully stick until I get more of it down. And I just peel the rest off and press it down. So now we have a lovely little backing. I did go ahead and measure out the insides. So I have some cardboard here that will hopefully fit, but we shall see. I wanted it to be a little bit stronger so it won't be too floppy around, which I did have an issue with that on my first attempt when I was making it for myself. So now that I have those in there, on the other one, I did use double-sided tape to stick it down in between. Here we're going to see how much I can do without using double-sided tape. But we'll see how it goes. First, we're going to be making the one for my friend who, these are all of her books. I have these here. And she gets a little globe, and then depending on if I have space, I have these plants. I was finding that it's kind of easier if I tape some of these together. So I'm trying to decide which books I should tape together. And while I'm doing that, I'm first going to be making sure that their spines are all lining up the correct way. And I'm also going to be double checking my height that I put this in, which is correct, but fingers are difficult, is what I'm learning. If I were smarter about this, I probably would have tweezers down here for me to use, but I don't. So for now, I'll take what I can get. And this top shelf I made specifically a little bit longer so I can stick my globe in there. I'm going to set this up very similar to how I set up my own bookshelves, in the sense that I like to have some books upright and some books to the sides. So I'm just going to choose some books that I think will look pretty together, and then I'll decide where they go. These guys I think are going to end up being taped together, and they'll go over to the sides. So I will just be using my double-sided tape. Double-sided tape can be expensive, I have learned, but I get mine from Dollar Tree, so it's $1.25 for a roll of double-sided tape, and it works just fine. I also use it for when I'm journaling, which is nice. And there we go, we have 3 stuck together. These guys are still loose, but we'll see if they get stuck there or not. And then this will probably go right here, I think. And I'm not sure yet if I want to make them stick there or not. So we can choose some more books. That will be our top shelf. These guys up here, I'm going to probably want to tape together for this top section. So that way it won't mess with the, what's it called? The globe, but we will see. And these guys I am going to go ahead and tape together. Actually, I might not tape them together. We'll just see how they fit in here. If they move around too much, then I want to tape them. But I also want my friend to be able to play with them, because I did take the time to make them all individual books. This is what we have so far. I have 3 more books to fit in here, and I have the globe. I am going to fit these other 3 books probably right there. And these guys, I'm going to just do a little bit of tape on the bottom, so that way they don't slide all over the place too much. My friend writes her own poetry, so it's kind of fun that she chose a poetry book as one of the books to be going in here. These guys, I think I am going to just tape down like I just did those other ones, because they're sliding around too much and it's bothering me. So the last thing we have to put in here is going to be the little globe. And I'm definitely going to be putting some double-sided tape on the bottom of it. And my guess it will probably still not end up working, but we're gonna see how it goes. I would have normally used hot glue, but I can't find my hot glue gun. So we're just gonna stick that down in here and hope for the best. If I were smarter, I would have probably made this be on the bottom instead of at the top, but it is pretty cute and still moves around. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I wanted to have some of the books be able to be moved around. Obviously not all of them can be, but all of the bottom ones are loose, so she can pick those out if she would like. I say, and then I again mess it up, of course. So just like that, though, we have another miniature bookshelf. And if I'm really feeling it, I might come back in with some of this wood and put that there, but we'll see how I'm feeling. For now, I have one more completed pin.